Mr. Elliot Pfebve.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Dereck.
Good evening. How are you?
No, I'm okay, and you?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Good.
Right. So the reason I'm calling you is that I've done a few videos on board notes, which the government of Zimbabwe is preparing to print and put into circulation in Zimbabwe. But I listened to you the other day and you had a different explanation, and I thought this might help a lot of Zimbabweans to understand what the government is trying to do. So to begin with, what are bond notes?
Yes. Actually, I've realized that many Zimbabweans, yes, they know that bond notes are coming, okay, through the government, but there's still some ignorance there as to what are bond notes, which is understandable because they don't have to know it, because there's no country in the whole world using bond notes as a legal tender.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now let me explain what they are. Now, bond notes, they are financial instruments which are a source of finance.
Okay. Can I also call them a debt instrument?
Yes, you can call them debt instruments, is the same. And again, later on I'll actually distinguish. There are various types of bonds. Yeah, you can call them debt instruments. Sometimes some other books they call them loan notes. It's the same.
Okay.
Right. And now there's nothing wrong for any government, let alone Zimbabwe, to use bond notes for capitalization. It depends what you want to use them for. Okay? Normally, let me explain the basis of the bond note. There's fiscal policy, which is by the government. Then there's a monetary policy, which is by the central bank.
Yeah.
And the monetary policy, in this case, if we go specific to Zimbabwe, this is our Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe.
Okay.
They deal with the monetary policy.
Yeah.
The government deals with the fiscal policy. And the difference with that is that the monetary policy deals with the circulation of money within an economy. And the role of the central bank, which is the Reserve Bank, is to make sure that there is enough money circulating within an economy. Enough money, not more than necessary. It will also have to intervene.
Yeah.
I'll come back to the bond note, because this is where the bond note comes into it. Not too little money circulating, because that's not good for the economy. And this is where the bond note comes into as well. I'll come back to that. Now, in terms of the fiscal policy, which is the government, we are now talking about in terms of taxation, in terms of import tariffs. So yes, those are the areas of fiscal policy where the government can intervene. Now, let us be very specific now to the bond notes as far as the Zimbabwean perspective is concerned, which is the monetary policy of the Reserve Bank. I'm very surprised that Chinamasa has been the person in the forefront of advocating for the bond notes, because financially and economically it is not his role. It is the role of the central bank, because that is a monetary policy. Namasa's role is a fiscal policy, which has nothing to do with circulation of money. Now, let's go back to what are they, and how do other governments use the bond notes? Right. The central bank use the bond notes, which sometimes are called also certificates of deposits or gilts. Right?
Yeah.
What I mean by that is that if there's too much money circulating in an economy, that actually can cause an inflation. So the government moves in through the central bank. So the central bank would then issue what we call the bonds. Right? These bonds are certificates with a value. I know from a Zimbabwean perspective, they want to bring a $5 bonds, bond notes, $10 bond notes, $100 bond notes. That's it. That is not there.
So that is current now.
That is current. That is not a bond.
Okay.
When you talk about a bond, you are talking about bonds. Normally, you issue a certificate with a value. Okay, and it's very rare that you get a certificate which is less than 50,000 US dollars. Okay?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So 50,000, 100,000 US dollars. So the government would print the certificates and then sell them to the public. Okay? The reason is that, let's say for example, you, Dereck, you've got your 100,000. Okay? And the government realized that there's so much money circulating in the economy.
So they want to collect that money.
Correct. So they will print the certificates, sell them to the public, so you buy, but they have to put some incentives into it. It's not just about you surrendering your 100,000. They'll say, okay, fine. If you can buy this bond note, which is 100,000, we'll give you 5% interest every year on the 100,000
until they mature.
And then every bond certificate will have what we call the redeemable date. So it will be 5 years, 10 years. So we'll say, okay, fine. We'll give you this certificate. You give us 100,000. Every year we give you 5% interest. But after 5 years, we give you back your 100,000 in full. So the incentive there is for you to get the interest.
To get the interest every year.
And at the end of the redeemable debt, you also get the full amount. That's how the bonds work.
So this is an attempt by government to clean up the excess money in the economy.
Correct.
But could they also be looking for money? Could they also be trying to borrow from the public?
It did. Now, how do they borrow from the public? Well, by selling you the certificate, they are borrowing from the public. Okay, so the government becomes the issuer.
Yeah.
Right, and you becomes the owner of the bond certificate. So that's how they borrow money from the citizens.
Yeah.
Right?
So is that domestic debt?
Yeah. Yes, more of domestic debt. But however, if there's not enough money circulating in the economy, what does the government do in terms of injecting money into the economy? They buy back the bond certificates. So they give you back your money so that that money circulates in the economy.
So does it make sense that Zimbabwe, which is struggling with circulation of money, would be trying to get money from people?
It is actually the opposite. It doesn't make money at all. It doesn't make any sense. As I said, that because if the government prints some bond certificates, okay, and then sell them to the public, then what they are going to do is that they are actually going to make the situation of monetary circulation worse, because they are taking money from the circulation and putting it in the government coffers. Okay? It should be the opposite.